It's Coffee Talk on FM 94.7 and AM 1450, and it's time for the Insider Report with Everett Hughes. Good morning, Everett.
I'm here, as usual.
Yes, you are. And, I was curious, the tax masters and all those guys that they have that service that they were offering, although they weren't giving you the real service, just
Right.
stealing your money. But
Right.
what they claim to be doing for you, is that still available to people?
Well, the ultimate, they were claiming,
Uh-huh.
and it's been there since a long time. It's called the offer in compromise. And I have a certificate on my wall from 1992. I went to an all-day seminar conducted on the fourth floor of the Federal Building in Seattle, and the title of this course was The Offer in Compromise, Giving Taxpayers a Fresh Start.
That sounds like a good idea.
It is a good idea. It's still a good idea, and it has been a good idea even since 1992. And that is the Make a Deal program that all of these outfits allege they're going to run you through the pennies on the dollar and this and that and all these things. But because I've done so many offer and compromises, I look at these TV claims, and you show these people standing in front of their palace in their boat in their car saying, I only pay the IRS $40,000 on $300,000. Well, you know what? I've had that kind of success and even greater success, but not in front of your palace that you own free and clear.
Mm-hmm.
See, the offer and compromise still is available. But in that article that talked about tax masters being eliminated that Forbes wrote, it talked about the number of offer and compromises over the last period that they were keeping track of. 57,000 had been filed during this time period, and only 14,000 had been accepted.
Now you're talking, you mean with the IRS, you mean?
With the IRS.
Oh.
Offer and compromise is with the IRS.
Right. But I kept thinking you were talking about that the tax masters had signed up 57,000
No.
people.
In the
okay.
article about tax
Okay.
masters, they talked about offer and compromises in that article by Forbes, and that was the statistic. 57,000 filed, 14,000 accepted. But the offer and compromise is still out there. Now, they've made it tougher. Out of the last year, I would say a year and a half, 2 years, I would say half of the offer and compromises that I have gotten accepted have all been in appeals. They failed on the first round.
Oh, okay. So that just takes
they're
that much
tightening
longer.
up the restrictions. And then, if there's real estate involved, boy, you've got to jump through some hoops, and you have to just show that you're just not able to pay. Which means if your residual income after they give you the allowable expenses is too high, well, you don't qualify for the offer and compromise. If you have too much equity in your real estate, you don't qualify for the offer and compromise. And there's a whole list of things that can exclude you from the offer and compromise, which is why this office always has the initial interview as complimentary, Doug, because I want to sit down and listen to the story of all the taxpayers' assets and income and residual things to see, once we submit this to the Internal Revenue Service, if it's even a case that they would accept.
Gotcha.
But they're still there.
Mm-hmm. It's just more difficult to get at least on the first take.
Well, yes, and it is. And the reason it's more difficult is because once upon a time, in 1998, you had the Tax Reform Act of 1998, and due to the law that was signed, the IRS literally did not know how to proceed with enforced collections. They didn't know what was legal for them, the method to collect. And so during about 4 or 5 years, because they couldn't collect, they just accepted anything that you threw at them.
Gotcha. Well, we're out of time, but if you want more information, call Everett at 533-4131.
Or go to everetthughes.com and listen to this for yourself. Listen